Assalamu alaikum friends, and welcome to another edition of NICC Storytime. Today, I have a special story about a turtle who is not comfortable with the way she looks. Some of her classmates make fun of her shell and she wants to remove it, but something happens that makes Tara realize that she is special and her shell is part of her identity. Let's read to find out what happens to Tara. Tara Turtle and Her Beautiful Shell by H.R. Mehdi and illustrated by Rashida Mendes. In the heart of the forest lies a small patch of land, full of trees, sticks, and grass, a lake with some sand. There are leaves of all colors, some green, orange, and yellow, some pink, some are purple. Welcome to Jannah's meadow. There are all types of animals living side by side, all shapes and sizes, some walk, crawl, some glide. For their kids, the parents built a shack for a school where be grateful for everything is the one golden rule. There was Ruby Rabbit and her best friend Hannah Hare, a mere armadillo and a bullfrog named Blair, a small gecko named Gary and a swallow named Sue, a woodpecker called Wally and Sandy the shrew, Horace the hedgehog, a blind mole they called Myrtle, and on this day a new student, it was Tara the turtle. She was green with brown spots and shaped like a bell. She moved very slowly and had a huge, bulky shell. With a smile on her face, she walked through the door, wore a pretty pink button on her shell for decor. "Hello, everyone," she greeted the class. They all said hi back, except two, who just laughed. It was Hannah and Ruby who didn't respond, and by the looks on their faces, they weren't too fond. So after class, Tara asked to be friends. Their expressions said it all. They wouldn't even pretend. Friends with a turtle? No thank you, we'll pass. And what a hideous shell! They pointed and laughed. Shocked by their words, she felt so alone. She started to cry and ran all the way home. Into the arms of her mother, she asked, "How was your day?" Tara said, "I never want to go back. Can you take me away?" "What happened, my darling? Let me know. Please do tell." "They didn't like me and were mean and made fun of my shell." "My shell is so ugly." The kids laughed and they scoffed. "Why must I wear it? Can I please take it off?" "But can you take off your shell? That's part of your identity. A turtle with no shell is like a lion with no teeth, a bee with no sting, a camel with no hump, a skinny hippopotamus, an elephant with no trunk, a four-legged spider, a flamingo that's not pink, a colorless butterfly, or a skunk with no stink. You can't take it off, for it's part of your charm. And besides, when in danger, it protects you from harm. It'll protect you from things you can and can't see. Please continue to wear it, I beg and I plead." Not comforted at all by what her mom said, Tara ran off to her room and jumped in her bed. As tight as she could be, she closed her wide eyes, slept like a baby till the sun started to rise. She rolled out of bed to get ready to go. Dreading another day at school, she moved very slow. As she walked into class, she was happy to see Sandy Shrew wave hello and say, "Sit next to me." They laughed and they giggled as they waited for class to begin. Tara was happy as ever to find her a new friend. Then Hannah and Ruby walked into the class. They glanced over at Tara and started to laugh. "Don't worry about them," Sandy said in her ear. "They're mean to everyone. I wish they'd just disappear." Just as the bell rang, they heard a clamorous clap. It was the sound of the thunder as the clouds had turned black. The teacher assured them the storm will pass soon, but the wind started howling and shaking the room. Startled and frightened, the kids huddled together, trembling and trembling, afraid of the weather. Each boisterous thunder lasted longer and longer, and the force of the wind grew stronger and stronger. Then they heard a loud pop. The kids took a deep gasp, holding their breath, thinking this moment's their last. The walls started to close, and they all closed their eyes, hoping and praying that they'd all stay alive. As they opened their eyes, their bodies still full of life, they were pleasantly surprised. What a wonderful sight! The walls that had fallen and toppled on over were sitting on top of the shell of Tara the turtle. The storm had now passed, and the parents ran to the shack, tossing the walls off Tara's back. Tara ran to her mom and hugged her so tight. My shell saved me and my friends. Mom, you are right. I'll never remove it, no matter the place, during good and bad times, no matter the case. Then she felt a tap on her shoulder. It was Hannah and Ruby. I'm sorry to bother you. Do please excuse me. But we started to think about the one golden rule, to be thankful for everything, and so we're thankful for you. The whole town yelled, "Hooray!" and shouted her name. After this day, the meadow was never the same. Wow, Tara the turtle was so brave. What do you think? I think it's important to be like Tara and have the courage to be true to yourself. The one golden rule, just like in the book, was to be grateful for everything. So be proud and thankful of who you are and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's also important to forgive others like Tara. Tara forgave Hannah and Ruby for making fun of her. I'm thankful for my friends and family. What are you thankful for? Jazakallah khair for joining me, and until next time, Assalamu alaikum.